Hello, you all. Darryl Berry Jr. back as promised at our regularly scheduled time to discuss where I'll be going for graduate school. To mark the occasion, I actually wore this shirt, so you can see I'll be going to SMU, Southern Methodist University. So I'll go ahead and share a bit about the school and what I'll be studying, what my class lineup will be, and for the fall, and uh, and see if anybody have any questions about it. So here's the website I have up here of the graduate program. All of these are pages that you all can find publicly available on the SMU website. So, of course, I had to graduate. Those are some of my last stream. I showed a little clip of me walking across the stage earning my Bachelor of Science in Physics and Bachelor of Science in Astronomy. So I earned both of my degrees with a just a bit over a 3.6 GPA. So it's pretty good. And out of the graduate schools I had available to me, this one was the best one for me. And as you can see, the college is called Detman College of Humanities and Sciences. And I'll read a bit about what it says here. Graduate programs, the SMU Department of Physics is dedicated to excellence in graduate education for small numbers of students with an emphasis on high energy particle physics and astrophysics cosmology. So basically, what happens is you pick one of these two as your concentration, as your focus. So I'll be focusing on astrophysics or astrophysics cosmology, more so the astrophysics part, but cosmology will be a part of it as well. And but basically, there's two concentrations. So I pretty much only applied to schools where there was either an astronomy PhD or an astronomy degree, or in some sense, I can concentrate or focus on an astronomy or astrophysics specialization. So SMU has a astrophysics specialization. Interestingly enough, the president from the school where I'm graduating from, where I just graduated from, UT Austin, is going to SMU as well. So I believe the president will be the new president there in the spring of next year. I'm not sure the exact timeline, but I know that the president from here, I mean, I'm still on UT campus now, will be the president there. So that's interesting. We welcome applicants from around the world and a variety of backgrounds. And this is definitely true. My roommate that I'm working to get an apartment with is actually from China. Candidates to our program receive financial support while in good standing. So you do receive financial support. So I'll have financial support while I'm going there. You can learn more about the career of our graduate students after earning their degrees from our alumni. So this is basically the general page for the physics program for the graduate department. The graduate department at SMU only offers, for the physics department, only offers a PhD in physics, and the master's you basically get along the way. So uh, this is that here. Degree requirements for a master's. The MS degree in physics is only available to students enrolled in the PhD program in physics at SMU. To earn an MS on a route to PhD, students must complete either 33 credit hours of approved graduate coursework according to the requirements laid out, or 30 credit hours of coursework plus 3 hours of master's thesis. So it would be nice, I think, to have a PhD and a master's. So I do plan on taking the required steps to get a master's along the way. So that's the plan at the moment. I know, and I'll talk about the classes I'm enrolled in a bit later. I'm enrolled in 10 hours this semester, and every semester it'll be at least 9. So I mean, technically I can do that in 2 years, as long as I continue to go full time. So maybe that's what the intention is. So yeah, 10 then 9, that's 19. Then 9 and 9, that's 18. So you have 19 plus 18, that's 37 hours. So it seems like just after 2 years of taking my classes, I'll be able to um, get a master's degree provided, of course, I'm in good standing, which of course I intend to be. But we'll talk about that a bit as we go along. And the PhD program, which is what I'll be doing, I'll get to that momentarily. This link here basically lists some people in the department as well as all the classes in the department. So this is the page for the catalog. Notice I'm looking at the 24-25 catalog. The 25-26 catalog hasn't come out yet, so I imagine there will be a updated catalog soon, but I imagine it won't be much different than this catalog here. So the department chair, David's son, Robert Gill, that's my advisor. I guess not officially at this point since I'm going into my first year, but he's the one I've been speaking with most often, most likely I'll be doing research with. I interacted with Joel Myers as well when I went for the um, graduate admitted student day. And these are the two links I showed the MS link a moment ago. We'll go to the PhD link in a bit. And these are all the graduate courses that's available. And if you notice, and we'll talk about some of these courses in detail, the ones I'll take. But you'll notice that these courses have the same names like classical mechanics, quantum, um, stellar structure and evolution. Still, like I took stellar astronomy or stellar astrophysics, but it's just that the approach to the topics are at the next higher level, where you have less approximation, for instance, or more approximation, depending on how you look at it. But in other words, you go into more detail, and basically your undergraduate understanding has to be firm as the backdrop for understanding the advanced stuff, which is why, of course, you need a degree to enter. So I have a physics and an astronomy degree, so of course that puts me in a very good position to have an astrophysics concentration. Quantum is not my strongest subject. I got a B in quantum 2. I believe it was a B minus in quantum 1 the second time I took it. So I'm actually studying some quantum now over the summer to prepare. So let's look at the actual PhD page. Candidates for the PhD degree must satisfactorily complete one physics foundation course, 5 core courses, 7 elective graduate courses in physics or astrophysics, and at least 48 credit hours of graduate courses total. So as a minimum, you have to make sure that you get the number of courses to get a master's anyway. Of the elective, students take at least 3 in their chosen area of concentration, which again, mine will be astrophysics and cosmology. So apparently they have particle physics, astrophysics, and cosmology, or particle astrophysics, which does sound a little bit interesting because I do have an interest in dark matter. So I'm pretty sure you'll be studying dark matter, or at least you can focus on the dark matter. Um, some people are. I actually was part of the directed reading program at UT twice, and one of the times I studied dark matter and dark energy. And one of the books, at least the book, the main book that I looked into was about particle dark matter and their investigations or and ideas about what particles could be comprising dark matter. Students typically take the course sequence of courses during their first 2 years and may take electives during their second and later years, according to their interests and in consultation with their research advisor. So the courses that I've signed up for already, I've signed up for foundations. And basically, what this course does, it replaces what used to be the qualifying exam. There used to be like a 4-day exam that people used to take, which obviously seemed high stress. I don't really like exams myself. But now instead, you take a full semester. And my understanding is it's basically the undergraduate physics in the semester. You take exams each week, and you have to pass this course to qualify for moving into research to earn your PhD. So my understanding is it's just a pass-fail course, and for this one that everybody has to take. I'm registered for classical mechanics, So this should be the more advanced version of the classical dynamics that I took in undergraduate, which I did really well in. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do well in this course. Lagrange and Hamiltonians can be pretty complex. I might need to practice that. Well, let's just talk about the special theory of relativity here. That's quite interesting. Hamiltonian Jacobi, continuous systems and fields, two-body central force problem. I'm registered for quantum mechanics. One, but as I said, I need to prepare for because that's my weakest subject. Fundamentals of quantum theory with applications to one-dimensional problems, free particle, and the hydrogen atom. Spinning electron, interesting. Perturbation theory with applications to atomic spectra. So basically, this seems like quantum 1 and 2 in undergraduate, but at the same time, and obviously it's going to be a higher level, the direct theory, um, which my understanding is basically the idea of collapsing a particle into a very precise location. And I've also registered for, is it statistical mechanics? No, it's not statistical mechanics. It's, where is it? I don't see the other one here. Oh, that's just because it's uh, yeah, it is statistical mechanics. Is that the one that was there? Yeah, for this one. Um, the derivation of classical and quantum statistical distribution functions, partition functions, laws of thermodynamics. Let me confirm, because one of the courses. Hey, what's going on, Lisa? How you doing? Yes, it is a pretty heady schedule. So it'd be 10 hours. One of the courses has a number by it. Let me make sure that I'm picking the right ones. So yes, foundations, got that one. Uh, classical mechanics, register for that one. Quantum mechanics one, and computational physics. That's what it is. It's not this one. It's computational physics. So my advisor advised me that that'll be a good elective course to take to help me with my research. Because I'll talk about that a bit later. But it's listed as selected topics, but it'll be updated to computational physics after that finishes getting worked out, is my understanding. And the last one I'm registered for is stellar uh, stellar astrophysics, which I guess they call it stellar structure and evolution here, the same class. So it looks like well, it might be just that. I noticed that this class is like a combined course. So there's some undergraduates in this class. So perhaps they have a different name for either one. But suffice it to say, those are the 5 classes I'm registered for now, which is 10 hours, so I'm going to have to drop one. And Lisa says, hope you're well. Yes, I am doing well. And will I be doing TA work? Yes, I will be. I actually got what's called a Palace Fellowship. So um, instead of doing regular TA duties, I'll be helping to revamp some of the courses. I believe they want a few new courses that they dropped off to be remade. So I'll be helping to uh, uh, codify and create courses and organize the courses, which is in line with what I'll be doing in the future, which will be a professor. So so they'll bump me up as a fellowship that'll bump up my income a little bit, as well as I'll be doing helping build and develop the courses. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I'll be doing, at least for the first few years. And I'm looking forward to it. I've already been a learning assistant, which is like the undergraduate LA, which you do things like study groups, office hours, and things like that, exam reviews. Pretty much the TAs do that, but they also do discussions and they might grade exams and things like that. So, but I think I'll prefer helping build courses. It'll look good on my resume as well when I go to be a professor. So, yeah, it'll be fun. So the first 2 years will be predominantly courses and TA work, and that's pretty much how we pay for our schooling. Is basically working for the university, so that pays for our tuition, and that puts living expense money in our pocket. So it's a good thing about probably because it's so hard. If you go into something like, I don't know, philosophy, you have to like pay for graduate school. But normally, if you going for a STEM field and you get a PhD, even though you have to work for the university usually, you get paid to do it. So some people get the bigger fellowships where they don't have to work at all. They could just go to school and they get paid fully like a full scholarship. But I didn't get that. I was actually nominated for that. So my progress and my resume and everything is really strong. So I was actually nominated for one of those, but somebody from another department won it. My advisor said he think it might be because the physics department won it last year. There's only a few of them to go around. So this year went to a different department. And when you're expected to start your thesis, we'll get to that. I actually have the handbook pulled up. I'll go into that as well. So I'll make sure to touch upon that. So we'll actually go through the handbook and go through the general outline of what my next, what, 5 to 7 years will be looking like. And of course, I'll be taking y'all along with me. Y'all can learn some physics and math and science along the way. Now, one thing I'll do is, you notice this says I have to take statistical mechanics. So I will have to take that. All of these are the core courses. I'll have to take electromagnetic theory. Since quantum is my weakest subject, and I can take either of these, I'll probably take electromagnetic theory. I actually got an A minus in that class because I studied so hard, and I was actually like at a C or a D or something like that. But I did so well in the final that it pulled my grade up. So so I'm pretty sure I'll focus on and plus I did EM. I was an LA for EM. But of course, the electrodynamics class was a whole lot harder than the undergraduate EM class I was helping with. But I believe I understand it better than quantum. So these is going to be the total number of classes I'm going to be uh, doing for core credit. And then for electives, so this is the elective section. Now, as I read earlier, you have to take 3 in your chosen specialization. So I'm going to be specializing in this. So I plan on taking relativity, galaxy, and stellar. So I can't say I fancy cosmology so much, but of course I do like stars. Y'all have been following along. You know I like stars a whole lot. And relativity I thought was fun, even though I need to do a lot of background study on it, I believe, to get ready for the class. And I think for my other electives, excluding the ones that I'm taking for my focus, um, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking this. Principles of elementary particle physics. A little bit of particle physics won't hurt. Review of particles, properties, theory, acceleration techniques, and detector technologies. Discussion of the particles' effects in astrophysics and cosmology. So basically, this is like a particle thing dealing with astrophysics. I think that'd be cool. And methods of theoretical physics. I mean, this seems like I really need it. Mathematical methods. And he says, I'm excited for you. Sounds like amazing classes. Yes, thanks. I appreciate it. Appreciate the kudos and support. And yes, I think they will be fun. So I look forward to it. Um, no, they'll be hard, but I think I'm up to the task. So um, UT was hard, but I noticed that I've been doing better as the semesters go on. Like I made honors 2 semesters in a row with the hardest classes, with a full schedule of the hardest classes. So I made honors in 2024 fall and honors in just last semester, spring 2025. So I believe it'll be the same thing there. Even though I'll try to actually hit the ground running, going a bit faster. Uh, I hit the ground like stumbling my first semester at UT because it was such a big jump. But I was able to progress very quickly. But I'll try to go a bit faster with that. Now, and actually, I'll talk about this a bit when I go to the handbook. What that's talking about. So This is something you could also find online, the handbook for the physics department. Notice that this is from 22 to 23, so it's a bit old. Now, one thing I'll mention before I go to that, because it comes to mind, because we'll see this in the handbook, like I said, and you could even see it if you click to the previous year in this catalog. You used to have to take a 4-day long exam, like 1 day for quantum, 1 day for classical mechanics, 1 day for EM, and 1 day for, I don't remember what the other one was, but 1 day, oh yeah, 1 day for thermodynamics, undergraduate stuff. But in order to even start your PhD proper, like beyond the master's level and start your PhD proper, you have to like absolutely master the undergraduate stuff. So you used to have to take this exam, but apparently it was like a big ordeal. So now what we can do is this. So candidacy qualification requirements. In order to advance a PhD candidacy, students must pass 6160, and that's the foundations course. Yes, it was intense. And I hate exams anyway. Exams are intense for me just in general. But now we won't have to do that. Now all we have to do is take this and do well on this. So basically, instead of, I guess, the exams are online. You can find them like on the website. And I looked through them a bit in preparation for this show here. And looking through it, I would say 50-50 of the problems I can do right now. Like just do the ones I skipped. But they give you time to review, the background of it. But still, you know, right now we do this class, so it's basically a semester of um, you know, undergraduate physics. So basically, all 4 years of undergraduate physics in one semester, and you have an exam every week, is my understanding, and you have to pass this class to enter your candidacy. In addition to that, you have to achieve a 3.0. So in undergraduate, you could achieve a 2.0, which like I achieved a 3.6, so I was way above that. In graduate, you have to achieve a 3.0 in order to progress. In the core courses, which would be mechanics, quantum, electrodynamics, and this is basically thermo, statistical mechanics. So the big four for classical mechanics like Newton's laws, quantum mechanics, electrodynamics, EM, and thermodynamics. These are like the main things by which our world runs. Like of course, mechanics is when you're dealing with all various machines that we have, like levers and things like that. You can calculate stuff like that with mechanics. And quantum, when you're dealing with things like understanding of the sun, the processes, because you know fusion wouldn't happen if it wasn't for thermodynamic processes. Even when you get to the workings of things like transistors, the things such in our computers, there's quantum processes that go into that, because electrons can actually pass through barriers where classically they can't. Like if you hit a wall, you just hit a wall. But without quantum, an electron can pass through a wall. So these things are necessary for our electronics to work. EM, you know, of course, same thing with all of our technologies and uh, electrodynamics when you're dealing with electricity and magnetism, electricity, power, which of course deals with thermodynamics as well. Like those who've been following along, we talked about how the first law of thermodynamics uh, basically deals with the temperature variance in like a power plant, the difference between, let's say, a nuclear power plant, the difference between the temperature that the nuclear fuel is heating the water to compared to the temperature of outside. And then the second law of thermodynamics takes and converts that, take into account the entropy, the fact that the entropy of the universe overall has to increase, and thus you get the efficiency of power plants. So if you look at through my videos, I did that problem and showed the efficiency of an average power plant, which ironically I challenged, um, uh, what do you call it, Factor to do, which of course he couldn't do. I mean, all he can do is be deceptive like the flat earthers can do. But these are the four main ones, is because basically our society runs on the understanding of these four major things. So all PhD physicists have to have a firm understanding of these. And it says successful students will be eligible to present proposed research for their PhD programs for their PhD program to the department in their fifth semester. So that goes to the question you was asking earlier. Do you actually start presenting and getting into your research the fifth semester? So it is not counting summer. So it'll be fall, spring, 24, 20, excuse me, 25, 26, fall, spring, 26, 27. So fall of 28, which would be when I should be getting into my research. And students are allowed 2 attempts to pass and must do so before their sixth semester. Um, oh, and they're talking about the oral qualifying exam. So I'm not really sure how this works. So I guess this means that I've taken the concentration courses from my concentration here. I guess they're going to give me an oral exam on my understanding of that and how it relates to my research. But I have time to ask my advisor about that. All right, so these are and overall I have 48 credit hours. And this is, I would recommend a nice wiki site that is quite powerful called Notion.com. I've been using it for my notes and other app integration like LaTeX integration and diagramming tools. All right, Notion.com. I never heard of that. Let's see here. Okay, it says an AI workspace with a little like box at the top with an N in it, like a cube with an N. Okay, well, thanks for the tip. I'll take and bookmark that so I can check that out later. Put it in my apps. Mm, boom. Awesome, thanks. Now, the handbook, this is an old handbook, so some of the things that they talk about is out of date. Apparently, they just update these as they need, and it's like on a rolling basis. But this still gives you a good idea of what's going on. So I've read through it in preparation, so I can take y'all through some stuff. So the timeline, this goes back to what you were asking about, Lisa. So the general timeline, the first 2 years, you're basically focusing on your courses. So the end of year one, you should receive an indication of your trajectory, whether you're doing well, do you have greater than a 3.0, do you seem like you're moving along very fine? And in order to continue, you have to at least be um, able to at least earn an MS degree by the end of your second year, which means, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, adding up the number of hours. Either you earn an MS degree at the end or continue to a successful PhD, which I intend to do both. And if you're unlikely to achieve either of those, then, apparently they let you know at the end of year one and give you the next year to try to improve. At the end of year two, you either exit with a master's degree or proceed to your PhD. And this is where we have to do the qualifying requirements, which, as we read before, will be an oral exam. And I'll have to have passed my foundations course, which I'll be taking in the fall semester. Um, so this talks about how core courses to be pretty regularly taught. Like I said, I'll be taking the foundations, quantum, and classical, and likely computational physics as a extracurricular. I was signing up for Stellar because I just like stars so much. My advisor was basically saying usually people take their specialization stuff like the second or third year or something like that. So what I'll likely end up doing is dropping my Stellar class and keeping the computational physics, and so I could get all my core out the way. But I like stars, so I was trying to get stars. But you definitely don't want to take what would that be? 13 hours of graduate hours? No, that'd be ugly. So I'd like to drop that in and keep my 10. And so this is what I was talking about earlier, in relation to undergraduate courses. Material taught is taught at a graduate level, but builds upon undergraduate material. If review and remedial help is needed for students, guidance should be provided on an individual basis. So basically, the idea is in order to do well in the graduate stuff, you have to have a firm understanding of the undergraduate stuff, which is why I'm going to review quantum over the summer. And Lisa says, do you think you'll need any programming? Definitely. So I'm actually taking a online course now that I'll earn a certificate for. And that's actually why the professor wants me to take computational physics. The computational physics course I was mentioning, that's basically a programming course. If I was to read the description, it says Introduction to the Modeling of Physical Systems. Emphasis is on algorithm selection and implementation for simulating classical and quantum physics. Most likely Python. The one I'm taking right now is Python. It seems like in astrophysics, the main language is Python. I took a research course fall of last year, specifically for astronomy, an astronomy research course, and the whole course, the coding was in Python. So I don't think we necessarily take a Python course, but I guess maybe if I'd known, I would have taken Python in undergraduate. But I took C++ in undergraduate in my community college because at the time that was the thing. But now it's Python. So, but I'm still a beginner with it. But I did learn enough to be able to do my research for the paper that I'm working on now. I'm trying to actually get a paper published over the next year. I have one version of it already going to be published in the McNair Journal, but I have to do some statistical analysis to get it published into a regular journal. So I'm working on that now. But still, I learned enough coding to finish that, but I still need to learn a lot more. So now this is the part that's actually old. There's no more core proficiency exam. Uh, so candidacy graduate students are part of our scholarly community and will be treated with professionalism as junior colleagues. So I think that's awesome. So talks about how we'll be encouraged to pursue research projects on our own, which like I'm doing right now, getting this paper published. We'll be welcome to join colloquiums and question and answer sessions and give our input. And so that's pretty cool, right? So I'm actually part of the physics community now, right? Lisa says the two hardest things in CS is cache invalidation, naming things, and off by one errors. Yeah, I hate errors, but I don't know. I need to start again with this online course and just go through the whole thing. And my plan is to complete it over the summer and earn my certificate in Python, and that should also prepare me for the fall. Not only because I'll be doing harder research, at least starting it. I mean, even though I'm predominantly doing um, classes, but I have spoken with my advisor and he let me know some of the things that's available for me. He encouraged me to jump in, ahead of time and start getting involved in it. So that's an OCS joke. Okay. I was thinking you was saying like, like if you have one thing wrong with the code, it breaks everything. You got to like find one parentheses or something. I hate that. But yes, you could tell I'm not like a computer person, but it's like I'm technically not a math person. I just learned math to help with my physics, and I learned coding because I need it for astronomy. Tells about how we'll be held to reasonable standards, like they won't be overworking us or anything like that. So that's good to know. Uh, so so all of these things is about IDs and things like that, which I'll do. How you can get your ID, introduce yourself to certain people. This is a little bit of tidbit stuff. I'll skip this stuff. Get more to the bank deposit stuff to get paid. Uh, Now I find this part interesting. Department routines. So apparently there's a weekly colloquium, right, that we're required to attend. Now I do attend colloquiums. Like colloquium is basically either somebody from the school, like a PhD, or even a graduate student presenting their research, or most often somebody from another college, university somewhere around the world. comes to the school to present their research, and they basically give an hour-long talk. I guess technically a 40-minute long talk, 50-minute long talk. At the end of the talk, you ask questions if you want. And so apparently they want you to frequent that because, of course, you're learning about the research you're doing, you're learning about the field, and of course, you're learning about better ways to present because you'll be having to do that. There's a coffee bar, which I thought is pretty cool, where faculty, staff, and other students drop in to get to know each other. So apparently, and when I was there for a visit, I was in the graduate lounge. Like basically, there's a few rooms that are group graduate offices that you have your desk in. But apparently, there's a coffee bar where faculty goes as well. It looks like there's a weekly lunch. So every Friday, the entire department goes to lunch, eat lunch together, and talk and catch up on things. So it's pretty cool. So I know well, I say a small school, but I mean UT is pretty big. Like most schools are small compared to UT, right? But my understanding is there's like 12,000 students there. To give you an idea, that's how many graduated this semester. And in the last video, I was thinking, oh, that's too big. It was 1,300. No, it's 13,000. It was 13,000 graduates from UT across all the different departments. I think just in CNS, there was probably 1,000. Yeah, it's just here's the yeah, I guess so. Texas toast is big, which I love, but it is some big toast. But that whole school is about 12, 13,000. And so, it seems like it's a smaller school. And when I look at the courses, like the graduate courses, like the courses accept only up to 10, 12, 15 people. So seems like I'll be able to get to know everybody really well, the professors and everything. So what's another cool thing? What page am I on? 10. So this is about getting our keys and things like that. Uh, Talked about the proficiency exam. Oh, okay. Course sequences. Here we go. So uh, one thing I found interesting is after we do our core courses, we still have to be registered in order to like get paid and everything, and not have to pay your student loans. Like as long as you're in school, you don't have to pay student loans, which I have a bit of from undergraduate. So what they'll have us do, okay, is this 12. We basically register for research courses. So basically, when we finish our 2 years of courses, maybe we'll take one or two courses. Probably just one to build up our knowledge, hit the 48 and things like that, or out of interest. But generally, you sign up for an 8100 resource course or some kind of resource course to stay registered. And we talked about our core courses. So basically, I'll be focusing on these because of my cosmology and focus. And Lisa says, will they provide housing or you'll be off campus? I'll be off campus actually. There's no graduate housing there. Uh, um, so they do have apartments there, but they were all filled up already, at least the single ones by the time I was accepted. So I'll be getting an apartment with a guy from China, another astrophysics PhD student. So we've already applied for the apartment and everything. We're just waiting for him to get his visa so we can get our background checks done. And but he's been schooling in the United States since like middle school, so I imagine it won't be a problem. But we'll have an apartment like 5 minutes from the school. But I do plan on applying for those university apartments for next year since I'll be able to apply early. But I wish they did have graduate housing. I would be living on campus. I love living on campus. It's very convenient. Now I noticed that they gave this, but again, this is an old book. But I noticed that, so this is the odd number year 2025, and statistical mechanics wasn't offered, but quantum one was. So I've actually not had a problem with roommates in that sense. Like, we had disagreements about things before, but I haven't had to worry about people stealing my stuff or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Uh, uh, Especially a PhD student. Pretty sure because it's not easy getting into PhDs. I mean, you have to have good grades and you have to have a lot of references and so I'm pretty sure he'll be good. Oh yeah, I've heard some horror stories. You're correct. I've seen some on YouTube where roommates, yeah, some people are quite disgusting. But besides this, I haven't had any major issues. So maybe there's just a disagreement here and there or something. But I'm pretty laid back. And my last roommate, we probably only said like 100 words to each other the whole year. We just like to stay to ourselves. So, but this guy's my current roommate. He seems a bit more. He talk a bit more. I had mentioned, by the way, the courses I plan on taking. I'd be interested in. Like I'd be interested in this to learn methods. Because I can use some help with my math still. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a video soon on going through quantum again, and I got stuck again on the uh, Gaussian integral. So I'll make a video about that. I wasn't gonna do it after here, but I'll probably just do it tomorrow on my STEM channel instead of doing another video on the other channel tonight. Especially since I work tonight, I'll chill out a bit. I already talked about stellar computational physics. This is the one that I've registered for now. So I'll be taking that right now. And I wouldn't mind taking mathematical statistics as well. But again, I'll have time to see what other non-core courses I'll be taking to get up to my 48. So we talked about this earlier. As a TA, I'll be working up to 20 hours a week. My specific one, since I'm a Palace fellow, I'll be helping to revamp and create new courses. So that should be fun. And then after I pass my core, I'll go into my research starting in my fifth semester, which for me will be the fall of 27, 25, 26. Yep, 27. Yep, so the fall of 27, I should be starting my research provided I earned a 3.0 overall and everything and pass my foundations course. And so this is a good little outline of what I'll be doing. So first 2 years, mainly occupied with courses and TA studies. uh, Arrange with faculty to perhaps do some research in the summer of next year, which I'll be talking to my advisor about. I made some notes on these, some things for me to do. Um, Ideally, we'll be funded after because basically you're a TA into your third year, then you basically become a research assistant when you're focusing 100% on research when you finished all your classes or most of your classes. So ideally, you get some kind of fellowship externally, but if not, you should still be able to work as a TA for the university. And now this is interesting. Shortly after forming your core PhD committee, so you actually have to help build a committee that we will send our proposal to, or give a proposal to, and eventually we could be approved for our research and start researching it. So one of the lines up here that I thought was pretty cool, it said, what's that line? Mhm. I don't remember the exact what he wrote, but it was something like the core of a PhD is completing your core requirements, like developing a theoretical understanding and doing original research. That's basically the heart of what we're doing. But I didn't realize that we basically make a committee, and what ends up happening as well. So initially, we make a committee with two or three people, PhDs in the department, and we present our proposal to them and get approved for the research that we want to do. They might say, well, maybe that's too hard. Maybe break it into a smaller thing, or maybe you need to up that a little bit and do this, add this to it or expand it or whatever. And then when we finish doing our research, we have to add another person from outside the department who will actually hear our defense. So basically, what it said was we basically defend ourselves publicly. Now, there's an open public defense where anybody can attend. And then there's a closed room defense with the experts only and another third party person from outside the department. They could be from a different school as well. And you basically what they're doing is they're challenging your understanding not only of the concepts and details of your research, specifically, and your original research specifically, but also, I guess, the understanding overall of the physics and the theory and the concepts. So it is I'm being is impressed upon me how much you have to really know and understand both undergraduate and what you're doing at that level. And the rest is basically a lot of financial stuff, how you're going to get paid, reimbursed, and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Okay, performance assessments. So basically, they're going to give us assessments pretty regularly, very clearly. Make sure that you're doing good on your grades. Letting you know how your research is going. Basically, we have to make sure that we have clear goals, that we're progressing towards those goals. And of course, your basic things like professionalism, make sure that you meet your obligations, keep your promises. Um, they also have a good section about on here about academic honesty, making sure that you cite your sources. They also made it very clear that as a graduate student, they will make sure to credit me for my findings. Like when I work on these courses, if I create a new course, I'll be given credit for that. Or if I update a course, I'll be given credit for that. Like whether it's, you know, whatever, uh, um, what do you call it? Documentation that they have to say who's behind this. And so they're really big about making sure you get credit for what you do and also making sure you credit it. So honesty in your research, honesty in you're making sure your work is your own, making sure that you accurately uh, 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 keep records of what you do, keep accurate records of your experiments. Don't manipulate the data to try to make it fit something. Make sure that you accurately report what's going on. And so they mentioned all that as in will. So I think it's a good document to read. It took it didn't take too long to read the whole thing. But it's some pretty good stuff. So that's basically what I'll be doing for the next, what, 5 to 7 years. The next 2 years it'll be classes. Uh, Lisa says so weird. There isn't any flat earth courses. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad I learned about it. I think it was an interesting foray into, uh, yeah, I always had an interest in psychology. There's not enough to make it a full-time interest, I found. I was actually working on a book about all the stuff I learned on flat earth, but it doesn't even seem worth writing it. It feels more like I mean, I learned what I wanted to learn about it, and I understand why it's going on and the mindset behind it, but it doesn't even seem worth the time to put it to paper because it's so stupid and silly in the end and dishonest. But I mean, in the future, I don't know. It's valid information. If I was a psychology major, I might make that my study, like studying the mindset of these people. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more enjoyable spending my time talking to people who are honest and knowledgeable and intellectually curious and so on and so forth. It is a waste of time, but the silliness is fun to observe. Yeah, I agree. For a time, I would say. Uh, at the moment, it is. I can't even. It used to be fun to even just watch or laugh at it, but lately I haven't been able to even just watch it. Just for I just haven't been spending any time with it. It seems like a waste of time at this point. The final experiment helped with that, by the way, because when you see how they respond, not only to the plethora of evidence that came from that, but also how they responded to their own. Um, I mean, I think that was a. I mean, yeah, it just seems like it's just a waste of time talking to these people for the most part. I mean, you do have people that come out of it, but again, are you willing to put forth all the time and energy it takes for the average one of them, I guess, to come out of it? I'm not willing to do that. So I guess to a large part, I was in it to try to help get these people out of it a bit, like help increase their understanding. But I've concluded at this point that for the most part, this is a waste of time. So now it's not worth my time to try to do anything to try to wake these people up. Let's focus on actual science and interact with people who are honest and knowledgeable and want to learn. So awesome. That's pretty much all I have today. Want to let y'all know what I was working on. Matter of fact, while we here, uh, maybe I should go ahead and do a. Well, we're almost over. So I'll be back tomorrow on my STEM channel, and I'll do some Gaussian integrals. And Lisa says TFE show conclusively there literally isn't enough evidence to convince people who want to deny reality. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. It definitely did. It definitely did that. Uh, it's talking about how it's funny to look at what's going on. One of the funniest things I ever saw. Um, I was looking at. This was back when I was like going through that thing with uh Flatzord, and one of the people I believe on his channel was saying he was talking like uh 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 what's his name? Journalism has been bought over to the other side. And they were saying, well, maybe we can make him a double agent. It was just so silly. Oh my gosh. It was just so hilarious that these people are so deluded that they think there's some big conspiracy and Jaren is brought over and maybe they can give him some money and make him a double agent. I don't know. It's like they in some deluded spy novel in their head or something. It's crazy. I mean, oh my gosh. But I've been so much happier just since I've not been dealing with that anymore. I've been putting my attention into that. So and spend more time on science and learning. So those who are watching, I see there's a few watching. You all have any other questions about my graduate journey before I log off? And those are the topics you'll be seeing some things about. By the way, next week I'll do some quantum. I'll probably be doing more quantum over the next few weeks, because that's my weakest subject. So we're gonna have to really boost it up in preparation for the graduate level stuff. Awesome. Lisa says, thank you as always for going through this new chapter in your life. You're certainly welcome. A pleasure seeing y'all and taking y'all along. And I look forward to sharing some more in-depth undergraduate stuff as well as some graduate stuff as we go along. And y'all be able to see me earn my PhD and hopefully a master's degree along the way. So, but that'll be a good overall 5 to 7 years. Apparently, um, from the time you enter your candidacy, they want you to get your PhD in a maximum 6 years, maximum. So you enter your candidacy, like we were reading earlier, at the end of your second year, when you finish your courses, you get your committee together, you present your idea for your original research. If it seems like a good thing to do, then you start doing that, and then you're officially in your PhD candidacy. In 5 years from that, ideally, you should have your PhD, but they could extend it a year, so at the most 6. So that means that at the absolute most, it should be 8 years from now, I'll be a PhD. Ideally, 7 years from now, I'll be a PhD. And I suppose you can do it faster, but I won't be in a rush. So because I actually enjoy school and learning and teaching, like helping in the classes. I've actually enjoyed it, even though some classes are very hard and like, man, I had to really work for this last semester. And I still did good. Got what? 3 A's. Oh, yeah, 3 A's and a B. So it'll be harder in graduate school, but I find that my capacity to learn is increasing. Like I didn't realize it, so like I still read for fun, like novels, and I can go through novels pretty quickly. It's amazing. Like when I compare the rate at which I go through a novel before went back to school to afterwards, I can read a whole lot faster. Because reading these textbooks are hard to read. Oh my gosh. When I first came back to school and actually had to start reading textbooks, because in UT, I mean, you have to read the textbooks to get through the class, generally. So textbooks are kind of hard to read. And at first it was very difficult, but now I could pretty much take and read a textbook. And so now when I read a novel, it's like child's play. So I can go through them pretty quickly. At least since I look forward to calling you PhD Darryl. I thought about actually renaming a channel to that effect, like something like PhD Tony. Then there's like PhD. What's his name? PhD. He's a short PhD, a short guy. I can't. I remember his name. Uh, Not Tony Bell. Dr. Phil Bell. I guess his channel isn't PhD Bell. It's just Dr. Bell, Dr. Phil Bell. But I don't know. I'll see. So we might still just have a Darley Berry doing it. But I know it'd be fun to have Barry. I've always wanted to be a doctor, to have a doctorate. But I know I didn't want to do like a medical doctor because I hate biology, even though the idea of being a medical doctor still seems fun. I never realized you can take an undergraduate in anything. Like somebody in my graduating class, he has an undergraduate in physics and he's going to medical school. So maybe if I knew that, maybe I would have changed my mind about it. I don't know, but still, I like stars too much. So I'm glad I'm going where I'm going. But awesome. Good seeing you, Lisa. Thanks for dropping a line. Always good having people to chat with. And I'll be on my STEM channel tomorrow at the regular time. I'll do some Gaussian and look forward to be next week at regular time for some quantum. So I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.